This is Rafik Luzon, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk.
Chicago the other night, Annie, and the defense up to its tricks again as Bonner splashes home a massive three.
I don't think Alyssa Thomas will be on the bench too long.
Again, no Sabrina Ionescu without her services. What a pass by Akol Makani to Mack. You see this mark at 10-2 when Thomas, Sabally, and Copper are 10 plus. Annie. AT spinning.
Oh, what a pass.
Oh, the cutting Bonner, and AT finds her.
Yeah, unfortunately, the New York Liberty are done, but the Phoenix Mercury are on the rise. And welcome to an episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Our Phoenix Luzon, and look who's back, the hardcore Phoenix Mercury fan. She actually covered the Phoenix Mercury first off graduating ASU, Aya Abdeen. Welcome back to the show for the first time in like literally how many years?
It's felt like it's been 3 years or something like that, but feels, good to be back, especially after all this hard work that I've done. I'm really proud to be where I am today. Now I get to cover the WNBA as a whole, especially after growing up as a Phoenix Mercury fan, and now it all feels like a full circle for sure.
Yeah, it feels like definitely full circle. And what do you know? The Phoenix Mercury are like literally the talk of the WNBA as far as a possible contender. Who would have thought that we'd be talking about the Phoenix Mercury possibly dethroning the Phoenix New York Liberty in the Washington, excuse me. Who would have thought that we'd be talking about the Phoenix Mercury with the roster that they've had? AT, an MVP candidate, Satu Sabally,
All WNBA.
So many different pieces.
There's a lot of different weapons that they have.
A lot of different pieces that you didn't think would be this much a factor towards the Phoenix Mercury's development. Oh, yeah, and there's Kalia Copper, who's part of the Chicago Sky championship team. We know the history between that. So, yeah. What you think? How good does it even feel to have this particular roster with the chance that you have to bring another championship?
I gotta say, though, I don't remember when was the last time the Phoenix Mercury had this type of championship roster that is competing for one in like a long time. But like 2018 and 2021 were the 2 years that were like really close. But I mean, to see where they have come a long way and how they revamped their roster, especially after moving on from Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi, which they are considered as the best duos in franchise history, and especially in league history as well. It speaks to a lot of volume about the franchise, how they want to continue their success. I mean, like they are one of the 3 founding franchises that play in the WNBA to this day, and they have 3 championships. I mean, how special is it to see their greatness continues on the rise? So, I mean, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I'm just, mind blown from what I have been seeing as of lately. And at the end, the new ownership, Matt Ishbia, all he wants to do is bring home a championship. So it's pretty promising to see how the Phoenix Mercury are contending and how they have drastically improved from being eliminated in the first round last year to this year becoming one of the contenders. Like, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Like last night, I was just at last night's Phoenix Mercury game in Phoenix against the New York Liberty. Mind you, they were without Sabrina Ionescu due to a left toe. Hopefully, it's nothing serious for sure, but I know she's considered as day-to-day as what's in Sandy Rondello said. And to see how the Phoenix Mercury has stepped up on the defensive end is really, it's like a scary sight for this league.
Yeah, let's call it the way it is. Like I said, the Phoenix Mercury have definitely showed a lot of growth and development with this particular roster, and adding Satu Sabally and AT, and even bringing back DeWanna Bonner, who was a major part of the last championship the Phoenix Mercury had before you started watching it.
Yeah.
come together.
Yeah. I mean,
Bonner brings veteranship. AT brings the rebounding, the scoring, and not to mention even stuff that you don't see on the stat sheet. Oh, yeah, and then there's Sammy Wickham, a 2-time WNBA champion in her own rights. There's that to think about. So you got some good shooters. You got people ladies that actually won championships or been part of the WNBA finals. It's very rhetorical to say this, but do you think that they will dethrone the New York Liberty if they were to go at it in the first round?
I could see it as a possibility. But the question for the New York Liberty is, could they be fully healthy just in time for the playoffs? Because they've been dealing with a lot of injuries throughout the season, and especially like the movement movement in the roster and adding in that Benajelini Hamilton's impact on both ends of the court has been drastically missed. But it's going to be interesting to see how the movement will look like in the standings in the next few weeks. I know that the Mercury would rather focus on what they have in front, like the games, and especially like with the movements in the standings. Where could Atlanta Dream end up? Where could the Las Vegas Aces end up? But this is going to be a pretty interesting to see how it will all turn out like before the playoffs. But to see how the Phoenix Mercury are playing one of their best basketball right now is a promising sight.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of opponents you got to look at. I mean, look at all these playoff teams, and who would have thought the playoffs would come out like this? I mean, you got to Seattle Storm, of course, they were the fifth seed a year ago. Now they regressed to number 7, and then you have the new WA team, the Golden State Valkyries. And obviously, you've been to a lot of Phoenix Mercury games this season, and which means you got to see some shades of the Golden State Valkyrie, the newer WNBA franchise. What you think about how they match up against them this season?
Oh, this is gonna be an interesting one. But it could be a sweep for the Mercury over the Valkyries because like the Valkyries, yes, they are a new WNBA expansion team, but to see how they've been setting the standards as an expansion franchise is really impressive as of lately. And not to mention that one of my friends that I know went to a Valkyries game to cover the Mercury, and I'm not gonna lie though, I'm jealous for him, but I'm happy for him at the same time. So to see how the Valkyries are setting the standards with the expansion, like leading the league in attendance, my oh my, I'd love to attend a game in Golden State next year to cover like a different WNBA team, like two different WNBA teams so I can branch out besides like, the Mercury as well because I want to like, cover two different WNBA teams like in a single game. Because like I've been covering the Mercury for most of my time, but I want to branch out as well. So that could be a possibility for me.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Cisco is not. Chase Center San Francisco is like literally. It's like literally an out-track train right away from Phoenix, Arizona. You know the West Coast area better than I do. I've only just been a visitor at one point in Los Angeles back when I was a little younger than when I was a little younger, but that's a whole different conversation. I've got a taste of the West Coast, but what I can tell you is you probably gonna enjoy it better. You know those areas better, Phoenix and Chase Center better than I do in real life. Oh yeah, and then you've also actually had some good reps the last time you came on the show. I mean, you've been to Super Bowl, you've been covering some football. You actually like done some play-by-play. Like to get into your whole rest of the time at ASU, how does it feel to actually solidify yourself in this WNBA space and sports space these past few years?
Continuing to add my name is what I've been wanting to do, and spreading awareness about women's basketball has been my dream since I started following the WNBA in 2016. And to see how the WNBA has come a long way is still such an amazing sight. Like it shows that everyone wants to watch women's basketball. Everyone wants to pay more attention to like, women's basketball, not just one player. So it's always important to acknowledge the past, present, and the future as well. So I have to add in that.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the WNBA has definitely showed a lot of growth, and hopefully it's enough growth to prevent a possible WNBA lockout that's coming up. Because there were conversations about the CBA and now
Yeah.
the players, the WNBA Players Association and the union are struggling to like come up with a good CBA deal to continue the league going to avoid a lockouts.
hmm But like players deserve to get paid more. Like
They do.
they do. But I've been seeing fans saying with the signs that says pay the players more. And it shows that they deserve much more. And not to mention that the success and Unrivaled in its inaugural season has made a major difference as well. And especially in free agency as well this past off season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unrivaled. That's literally basketball right there. You'd be surprised. I mean, they finally decided to put it together. The Visa Collier, Brian Stewart finally decided to put together something where the players don't have to go overseas too much because when the offseason comes, the WNBA players are literally overseas trying to win a championship there.
Yes. And especially with the wear and tear bodies over there as well. Like just 3 years ago, there was a complex situation when Brittany Griner was wrongfully detained in Russia for hashish oil, and Griner hasn't returned overseas basketball since then. But I mean, she played off-season basketball in Unrivaled, and I mean, I'm so happy for Brittany Griner that she's living her life on the U.S. soil. So I'm gonna add in that.
Yeah, we can't just ignore that. I wasn't even going to think about that whole Brittany Griner situation. I'm
Mhm.
just glad outside the Olympics and in certain USA games, she's not going to be touching overseas ground again,
Yes.
or at least I hope so. But obviously, wishing for the best. She turned the Atlanta Dream into a championship team in just 1 year.
hmm But I mean, also to add in that even though she comes off the bench, she still makes a difference on like the score. And Brianna Jones as a starting center, it's like an interesting rotation, but it's giving one for the Dream as well.
Mm-hmm.
What a turnaround the Atlanta Dream is having as well, as significantly as a franchise. Dwight Howard as the first overall pick in 2022 WNBA draft. Alicia Gray, she was brought over in free agency in 2023. And Jordan Canada, even though she's been missing some time due to injury, but to see how they've been building the team chemistry over the last few years and adding in a coach that is like up tempo, the Dream is such a scary sight for sure. Nobody would want to face him in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how the season lines up with the Dream and Mercury, the Liberty and the Dream in the first round is a possibility as well.
I
I
can see
mean,
that.
the Dream are literally hungry to get back at the Liberty for what we took about during our championship season last year, and yeah, now that the New York Liberty know what it's like to be a defending champions going to the playoffs, this is going to be another test for them.
Yes.
No matter who they face around, whether it's the Aces or the Dream or the Mercury.
This is going to be interesting to see how
And
it will all turn
after
out.
the Mercury defeat the Liberty, we're probably going to be stuck at number 5 going to the postseason, which is scary to think that because a
I'm
year
kind of surprised.
a year
Mind you, I was surprised to see
started
where they end up.
and they started 9-0 to start the season, but it shouldn't be too surprising because the injuries came around. And by the time you end up
Yeah.
facing the Minnesota Lynxes and the Mercuries and using the Atlanta Dream a couple more times, that's when you really get to show what the Liberty have to work on when they
Yes.
don't have the roster, because Brianna Stewart brings aggressive defense. Jonquil Jones not only brings score, but she brings aggressive defense. When one of those
Yes.
two players are not playing, that could make the inside scoring defense a bit more vulnerable. Sabrina Nescu can only do so much. Yeah, you brought in Emma Mieseman, but that's too last minute. You don't have Benigel Jelani Hamilton this year.
That's what I brought up.
Cloud, with Natasha Cloud, aside from the fact that she has some championship experience herself, she hasn't been in the league as long as Courtney Vandersloot. So that's something that we need to think about.
I mean, like to see where the New York Liberty went from winning a title last year to how they've been dealing with injuries in the fifth seed. I'm just pretty surprised about how they went from one of the undefeated teams alongside Minnesota to now being the fifth seed due to like injuries. And that was a total shock to me. Like when I saw the Mercury win over the Liberty last night, I was stunned. Like it felt like I don't even know what to describe it, but credit the Mercury's defense on the putting the pressure on the New York Liberty's bigs. Not to mention that they also have three Finals MVPs, former Finals MVPs in one roster. And to still see how the Mercury figured out to defeat the Liberty without Sabrina Ionescu and three former Finals MVPs in one lineup is actually mind-blowing to me. Sorry to bring it up.
It's all good. I mean, the Phoenix Mercury and fan of you is probably excited, but obviously now that you're going to more cases as a journalist and me a member.
I'm shocked inside.
Yeah, I know you are. But then
Oh.
again, you are. And I expect that feeling because you're doing it against a team, because unlike the past New York Liberty rosters, we're coming off a championship. So of course it's going to be shocking to get 3 out of 4 from them, even with the circumstances. And Jonquil Joe said to himself in an interview with Ross Golden a while back, or not too long ago, see, they do not date their fifth seed. They think they're way capable of actually being a better team than they were going into postseason time.
Yes. And to see how the Phoenix Mercury They dealt with injuries early on in the season, and now they have built their way to becoming one of the championship contenders. Like how Nate Tibbetts balances the starters minutes and especially the bench, and especially with the rookies with overseas experience. I gotta say, that is freaking impressive. It speaks to a whole lot of volume into how Nate Tibbetts would want to run a team. So that's what I love to see from Nate Tibbetts. Not to mention, when he was named as a head coach in a WNBA team almost 2 years ago, they were criticizing about how he would make a transition. But look where he is right now.
Look what he is right
He's
now.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Solly made a good choice.
Yes.
She just watched her sister win a championship, which means she's going to be hungry to try to bring a championship to Phoenix.
Hmm. I would say Alyssa Thomas because she's been wanting to bring home a WNBA championship her whole career. But like her time with the Connecticut Sun, like you can
Never made
see
that
like
happen. Never
it did
made
not
that happen.
happen. But to see how Alyssa Thomas has made a move to Phoenix as a possibility, like when I first learned about Alyssa Thomas heading to the Phoenix Mercury, I was just like, it it literally came out of nowhere. But to see where Alyssa Thomas is right now and how she's been making history in her first year in Phoenix, that's impressive. Like I mean, Phoenix has set the standards in across the WNBA throughout throughout the years since the inaugural season in 1997. They started out with Jennifer Gillum, Michelle Timms, and Bridget Pettis, and then goes on Diana Taurasi, Penny Taylor era, and Brittany Griner, and now Alyssa Thomas, Sato Sabli, and Kalia Copper. Mind you, Phoenix has had such great talents throughout the years, and 3 WNBA championships as well.
Yeah, definitely. This is a championship pedigree franchise that the Phoenix Mercury have built, and obviously they have a chance to reclaim that, assuming that they can get past the New York Liberty, the Boston first round matchup, and then you may have to deal with the winner of the Minnesota Lynx and the Golden State Valkyries. And
This is going to be an interesting to see how the first
yeah.
round would turn out for this Mercury team.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you're aware of what's going on. And like literally weeks ago, when they announced that they're going to continue expanding onto the roster, expanding onto the WNBA, even with the lockout going on.
Yeah.
Well, next year, Portland and Toronto are going to start their franchise. Welcome back, Portland Fire.
Yes.
And then after that, you got Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia starting their franchise from 2028 to 2030, respectively. So
Yeah.
what you think about that happening when you started covering the stories?
I would say getting WB expansions is great, but there are different priorities that they should focus on too. Not only like expanding the salary cap, but also making sure that the players get more opportunities of competing for roster spots, like possibly expanding the roster spots. Because like 12, like you can see how the Dallas Wings have been dealing with, injuries as of lately. So with the Indiana Fever. The Fever had 3 season-ending injuries, and they are still fighting for a playoff spot. But I would say though, it's great to see how the WNBA has been expanding for the last few years, especially with like how it has been an issue for like, a long time since the Sacramento Monarchs folded in 2009. Mind you, I was 6 years old when the Sacramento Monarchs folded and the Detroit Shock moved to Tulsa, and now they are the Dallas Wings. So to see how the WNBA is trending positively is a beautiful sight to see. But there's still some work that needs to be done, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We might not say the same thing 5 years from now when all the teams finally play their first years, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
The WNBA deserves more growth. Jesus Christ, the WNBA and NBA are finally playing together in NBA 2K's My Team mode.
Mm-hmm.
How's that for bringing engagement? And Sabrina Nesco just talk about the WNBA needs to have its own video game and not be a mini game with NBA 2K.
Mm-hmm. I mean though, like how there has been some WNBA players on the 2K covers, like Candace Parker, Super, Diana Taurasi, Angel Reese, and like possibly more to come. It's promising to attract new fans to get into the WNBA and to learn more about the history as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always important, like I said already, it's always important to acknowledge the past as well,
Yeah.
especially Tamika Catchings. Mind you, Tamika Catchings, she's one of the best defenders in franchise in WNBA history when she was with the Indiana Fever. So the Fever was so successful, heading to the playoffs for 12 straight years from 2005 to 2016. Since her retirement, the Fever has struggled until they got Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark in 2023 and 2024 WNBA drafts. And to see where the Indiana Fever is right now, oh my goodness. Now they are contending for a playoff spot, and they could head back to the playoffs for a second consecutive year for the first time since 2015 and 2016, and it's still promising for the fans.
Yep. It's definitely promising. And I love the growth of the WNBA. That's all I gotta say about
Me
that.
too. Me too.
So yeah. Why don't you talk about what it's like working for a 9450
And
50
getting,
plus life?
yeah.
And what
So
if you go as a journalist?
So I have the opportunity to write stories for Ballislife, like about WNBA stories. I have been getting to exclusive interviews as of lately, such as I got to interview U.S. Sports Camp's president, Justin Holliver, about their partnership with Diana Taurasi, which they also had a basketball camp in Santa Barbara last month, which was just pretty cool. And then this month, I had the opportunity to speak to Brittany Griner, Asia Wilson, Veronica Burton, and Kate Martin, and especially Angel Reese. Angel Reese is going to be coming out soon, but I spoke to Griner about the Taurasi documentary and her dream teammates, which was just pretty cool to get to learn about what she has learned from her new team, especially after spending over a decade with the Phoenix Mercury. And I also got to speak to Asia Wilson about her shoes, also known as A1s, and I love getting to see the players get acknowledgments for their signature shoes as well. And Kate Martin and Veronica Burton, they are such special players for the Golden State Valkyries, who are just, like I said, setting the standards for the expansion franchise, which is pretty cool to see. But and on the other hand, for 9450, I get the opportunity to do podcasting for the Phoenix Mercury, which was just so much fun to bring in my analysis of this Mercury team. I mean, this has been my dream. I love being hands-on. I love being the go-getter, and I just love doing whatever I can to continue to set the standards for the game of women's basketball as a journalist.
Why
And
not?
because because I love getting the passion to share the stories of women's basketball and especially the analysis on the teams.
And why not? There's more to these players than just what they do on the court. It's how they do off the court.
For
The
sure.
WNBA has done a lot off the court, and the fact that you got to interview these players to get more in depth on what they do off the court, from A'ja Wilson's A1 sneakers to Brittany Grant, giving the backstory about her teammates, and then the Diane Taurasi Dream movie, to get to know Kate Martin's new experience, actually leading the team as opposed to being a bench warmer for the Las Vegas Aces a year ago, and then being coached by somebody who was part of the Aces coaching staff that won championships,
Yes.
building that culture in Golden State. That's something that you can't just ignore, because you're telling your stories in your own way, with your
Yes.
own words,
For sure.
for two different platforms.
For sure. It's always important for everyone to like give credit to their sources as well because they have done the hard work. They always have done the hard work in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention the times you get to write for Howard Megdal from the Knicks.
Mhm.
He's doing a phenomenal job trying to give people opportunities to cover women's basketball for his publications.
Yes, I love getting to learn from Howard Magdal since my sophomore year of college, and I'm still a part of the next, but as a contributing writer, because I want to continue to grow and get more comfortable on writing feature stories on the Phoenix Mercury as well. So to see where I have progressed from the beginning of my freshman year of college to now, I am impressed with my progress, and it will continue to get better.
Yeah,
And
it has to get better. Especially, it's right. It has to get better. I mean,
yes.
you're built for the WNBA. I mean, I got people. I mean, I know certain people that has been covering sports entertainment a while, and they don't really. They still struggle to get the same opportunities we get in the WNBA space.
Mhm. I mean, though, like to see where I have been getting myself comfortable in storytelling techniques across the WNBA and not just focusing on one player because it's always important to give other acknowledgments to different players as well, not just one. Because knowing that Caitlin Clark when she was with Iowa, now she's with the Indiana Fever. She has attracted a lot of fans, and a lot of reporters want to get something out of her. But like for me, I want to find like something different with like different players as well, and especially legends too. I'd love to interview legends like Timmy Catching, Sue Bird someday, because like I want to speak to them about like their careers and the takeaways from their retirement and like their Hall of Fame induction. So I want to speak to them about that.
Yeah,
Currently manifesting.
yeah, definitely. You'll get your shot interviewing Super one day. But trust me, especially when the USA games comes around in like 2000, when the USA games come around again in 2028 or whatever, you'll get your shot.
Yeah. Currently manifesting though.
Yeah, you're gonna get those opportunities as long
Yeah.
as you continue developing yourself, not just as a journalist, but as a human being. I
Yeah.
mean, literally, just continue your growth. That's all I can say. You
Yep.
got this, Aya. You
Thank
really
you.
do.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the episode. Nothing but that sports talk. Thank you for stopping by, Aya Abdeen. I'm glad to have you back on Nothing But That Sports Talk. And trust me, the work that we do together pretty much making a huge impact on what you're doing right now.
Thank you. It's great to be back on the show. And I'm so excited to like return as a guest soon for like a potential matchup or a potential playoff matchup. It's going to be interesting to see how the standings will turn out in the next 2 weeks. But I cannot believe that the end of the regular season will take place next week and the playoffs will start in 2 weeks from today. So bring it on in the playoffs.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, Phoenix Mercury got my Liberty 2 times, so it would be nice to have a little bit of revenge for that.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Aya Abdeen from the 9450 Ballislife. I'm Rafiq Lewis. I'm with Nothing But That Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.